All I'm saying, Mike, is Air Canada sucks.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
Why, hello, and welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. We are a proud part of the Bar Cart Co-op with other fantastic shows like Bourbon Turntable, where they blend the love of music with the love of whiskey, and Distillers Talk, where they get right into the in-depth meat and bones of distilling, and usually with some pretty funny stories as well, too. So, thank you, everyone out in the chat, for stopping in right now. I see a lot of you in here early. Thank you for that. But before we go any further, Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot because you're the best in the business at it.
Spot away. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification to find out when new episodes are coming out, which are 99% of the time on Monday nights live. Share with your family and friends. And don't forget to comment down below if you're watching us after the fact, or comment in the chat with the lovely people that are there.
That is true. Big stuff we're tasting tonight because we were lucky enough to have Kris on last Monday. And we talked about some of the stuff that we're tasting here tonight. Sorry, I was just adjusting a little bit of a mic there. All sorts of neat stuff. Rice whiskey is a part of it. And that's something that not a lot of other people are using. I've had some in some Wisconsin distillers it was a few years ago, and I've been waiting to try this because that stuff was very good, and I'm wanting to see what's happening because I think that's a very unused grain, and it actually is really plentiful where Kris is, so they take advantage of it as a local grain, which is fantastic. Mike, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to dive in and have these with you instead of by myself last week. Although Kris imbibed in there, but I think he had a cocktail working too, which that's coming up on a next separate thing here. Is doing some cocktail work with these.
Yes, good. Well, I think the gin. I haven't had it. I've heard the gin is something that could really be used in a cocktail. So I'm excited about it. Mike says it's a gin I might like. Yay.
I think it's a gin you will definitely like.
I love that. But what do we want to start with here tonight, Mike? I'm gonna let you take the reins here.
I really think just because of the subtleties of it, and I'm gonna make sure that I clarify this. The subtleties of the whiskey, we really should have first the Pacific Flyway whiskey, because of there's little things and nuances of this and this whiskey that had to do with the blending and how it's done, blending between the two barrels, that you need to give it a fair shot to pick everything out before we go through these other spirits, including the unaged version of this.
Okay, and I think that's what we were talking about beforehand, going with second. It's just because you're getting the taste of this and then kind of tasting backwards to see how the flavors come through. So I'm going to twist this one off. This is Pacific Flyway Batch 2, Bottle 10. You can go with some notes. I'm just getting it out. So
all right. So one thing that for people that have been following us for a while, or ones that we have turned on to the beauty that is Rua. Ooh, I have. It's not the same.
No, it's not. But I get what you're talking about.
Right, but there are feelings that I get from this that I got from Rua, that anyone who has had Rua will understand what I'm talking about, and that are just, again, these like with Rua. There's things that we equated to like the pastry melting in your mouth and the layers just coming alive as it melted in your mouth. There's a lot of similarities to this. This is not an aggressive, bold whiskey. This is a very, I I don't want to say subtle. There's a better word than subtle, but it is. I'll think about this. My force ain't working tonight.
I'm going to move you back a second. Subtle's unused because it is in this one, but that does not mean it's not complex.
Right.
I was going to say, when you were mentioning Rua, I get what you're talking about. It seemed like a lighter version of that, but not with the same pastry. Okay, that's what I was going to say. I'm having a hard time nailing down the pastry. And it's lighter on the fruit notes, though they're in there, but very similar. And for those that don't know, Rua is from Great Wagon Road, and it's a single malt. So this being just a whiskey.
Other words for subtle, because we have the power of the internet at our fingertips. Just pro tip: if you're going to try to search up things, don't start with Urban Dictionary. That's a pro tip and a story for another time. But this is another one. This is a good word, but I don't think it does it justice. Sophisticated, I don't think that really does it. Understated, I think, is a good one for synonyms for subtle.
I'm going to say I don't like sophisticated because it gives me a feel of arrogance to it. Sorry, just does.
Yes, yeah, I agree. There's truly nothing arrogant about this. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get an actual notes, but I get exactly what you're talking about with that.
I want to know, because I said what I was getting last week, and I'm referring back to my notes. I'll read back what I had the last time, but I want to know what you're getting off this. Again, this is the Pacific Flyway Rice Whiskey. This is batch 2 from Golden Beaver. This is available. Their seal box does carry some of their stuff. Or if you know someone in California who's a good little mule, or sometimes you can contact liquor stores if they have online presence in California that will ship.
Get them shipped to them, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a pastry note. It's the thing that's throwing me off, and I want to get to that before I get to the top. So I'm gonna reverse what I was doing here. Okay. Notes on this is like a lemony, the lemon from a lemon meringue pie, not the meringue, but the lemon part, like the lemon filling.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then I'm almost gonna go. I'm gonna skip the middle layer of the meringue on it, but go to the burnt top part of the meringue. Drop it right down on top of it. Whew. Then I get some really nice, like floral notes. It's like you get the lemon and that, but then almost you get like this field. This is lightly complex is an understatement for what's happening here, and
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where the rice is in here. Because I think that's what's given me the torque on the pastry note here, is that I'm having a hard time placing like the rice into like a different taste category. A light lemon sugar cookie with a little bit of frosting back and forth. The inside's got lemon, like the little lemon filling that I'm talking about. And it's not lilac. I can't peg the damn floral note. But I was gonna say that I got that coming. It's like the open window where you're drying a pie off the window and you're getting that little bit of extra kick off it. Okay, go ahead, Mike. Let's hear you.
I was enjoying those comments. So I have, which I still get. There is a honey, and I still get I get a pear, but I get, if you've ever gotten, sumeone sends you the holiday pear, and they're those big ass pears that have their and have a little honey to them. Yes. Yeah. Whatever Dean and DeLuca, or is that, whatever, because that's a very distinct pear. It's like they're selling they're giving you those pears for a reason, but it's honey and those pears. I get a little grape on there, but like fresh grapes, off the vine. And then there's a little bit of chocolate, but then that toasted part that I get, it's like a toasted pastry dough, but not just the pastry dough. It's a toasted pastry. It's just that little bit there off the nose. That one right there, that one note in particular, that's the one that takes me to. It's an immediate reminder of Rua, but also just the fact of granted, this is not bourbon, okay, but you're not getting caramel, vanilla, oak, and cinnamon. I mean, you're getting a lot of layered flavors off of this, and nothing's like jumping out and like trying to grab you. It's just
very married.
It's very well married, and this is, as we all know, you can have a whiskey that you can like. I just want to have a whiskey. I don't want to think, and then you have this is a whiskey. If you have this and you sit down with it, you're going to sip it, and then you're going to be like going, "Son of a bitch." I mean, it's just. I mean, in all good ways. I mean, yeah. And this is, again, people watch, we don't kiss ass at all. This is really good.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. The honey on the second, third, on the top half of my mouth. Hold on, let me get another drink. I better confirm this before I go any further. It's got a unique viscosity because it's like in between light and medium, a little more medium when it comes in, and it kind of thins out as it goes down the back of your mouth.
It's like it breaks. It's like it's almost like a bubble that breaks.
Yeah, like 2/3 of the way down your tongue before it gets to the back of your mouth. It's like it just kind of opens up, like the viscosity changes. Also on the finish right now, it is making me salivate quite a bit underneath. Not as drying as you would think, but that's whatever is drying is on the top part of my tongue. Okay, back to some notes. This is why I waited for this because I'd heard good things, and it's reminding me of a couple other notes that we had from there. But
yeah, that spice that comes in on the back end, it kind of builds up, but it's not. Again, it's not bourbon, but there is that whiskey spice that can come through, from the wood. I want to say lighter, but again, lighter's not the right word. Lighter implies that it is not as strong, whatever. It just has a more balanced, or I'll use the U word again, an understated thing about it. For the proof that it's at 45%, it's extremely easy at 45, but then that little bit that comes back is just like, I'm not a lightweight.
That's enough to finish for me is what tells you it's not a lightweight.
Yeah.
Like it's like the opposite of some other things. Now you sent me the 4 ounce here. Did you know this was going to be a problem?
I did. Well, that's what he sent the bottles, and they're all going to. It's getting split up into 4s.
Okay, here I'm gonna go back because this is a really neat beginning.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of light lemon, but then it's like a light caramel and a cream on the first pump for me. Like as soon as it hits my tongue, the front part of my tongue. Then halfway back, that's where I start getting a little bit of the spice you're talking about coming through. But it has a really nice finish. Then after you swallow, it's like it starts to heat up a bit. Like what Mike was saying, it lets you know you had a whiskey. It's like opposite for me, and it's really drying. So this is really neat because it's making me want to go back for more pretzels or another drink. Wow. Yeah. This is, yeah. Chris, what is the cat? I'm going to ask because he's in the chat. So if you're watching, I don't know if he'll tell us or not, but look in the chat. Do you have what's the cast strength version of this? I'm like, what's like the top or higher ends when it comes out? I'm just intrigued because potency wise, this is pretty damn good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for 45, it has quite a bit of flavor in it. It has a little bit of heat. It has some excitement. Like Mike said, it lets you know you had something, which is one of my favorite things of whiskey. It's kind of lower excitement, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then you want to go back for that first 2/3 experience because, like I said, it's pretty unique. Like that break, 114. Okay, that's a hefty bump. But I mean, and you guys went with 45. I really like it what you did. So
I'd imagine that the higher proof is also good, but I'd be curious about the balance of it versus, because you've got the understated flavors, or actually that's a horrible word. You've got the very well balanced layered flavors going through there, and then you have the spice that comes back. And I wonder how that teeter-totter works with the higher proof. I would assume the flavors carry over really well, but I wonder if it tips that spice, in a little bit different area. But no, it's very good. I'm glad you finally got to try it because it's.
I think I got the comparison. It's the dough, a little bit different dough that compared to the Rua. It's the filling is the major difference. Like this is lighter, but has that finish really brings it home in a different way.
I am going to add. I'm going to add a drop of water.
It's a different pie filling on the inside of like that bear claw we talked about. But man, all right, hold on.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He says pour more. I'll pour more. Let me get a little tap here.
The water I get just initially a lot more honey and pastry. And then the pear comes through after that.
I get a lot more pear now that we did this.
Actually,
I did what half a bottle cap full.
Sip of water first.
Wow, that's weird. That doesn't drop down complexity wise. That's still pretty interesting on the nose. Just even dropping it down that much. Flattens out a little bit, but okay. I get a little more pepper.
Yeah.
I get a little more black pepper and that one lighter on some of the notes, but yeah, a little bit more black pepper and a little white. Like I'm getting that, and then the barrel isn't as heavy right now. Like I'm getting
a little more floral on it. I'm gonna do that again.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going back.
I'm gonna do it with a little different balance of water.
Yeah, the floral note and flavors on the front half, or at least front third, and kind of what pop more. I don't want to say hibiscus. No, I can't peg it. But I was like, I'm like, it's not a hibiscus. It's not. I'm like, I just can't. We're gonna have to go on a trip to a garden.
Go to yeah. I imagine though, if you went to the garden with a glass full of whiskey and started walking around,
but just be in the back.
You would look like there's a somewhat famous gardens nearby me that is also near a lot of homeless people. So you would look like some of the people that are walking around after hours.
That won't be the first time we've been in a park or a state park or anything like that had a bottle with us. But those parks had cemeteries in them, so that's kind of like cheating.
This is interesting because it changes it. What is it doing to it for me? There's still the layeredness, but it's almost sweeter.
Sorry, there's action.
You having
in the
a party?
background. Action in the background there. I get honey and apricot more on that one. Or at least it comes through more at a lower proof for me. Like
it is sweeter, and instead of having that spice off it, there's more. I get more like a white pepper coming on the finish. But then instead of it being the spice that comes up, it's just it's thick, but it's even. And that's really interesting. It's like hanging now. Granted, I've had several sips of it, but that flavor, that finished flavor, it's just there. It's just there on the. It's like sitting there on my tongue, almost like you. Like if you, this isn't the same, but like if you'd have a candied or peppered bacon, where because of the grease of it, it sits there on your tongue, and the bacon's long gone, but that's still there because it has that. That's what it reminds me of.
I can see that, but
Chris said you got a winner with the stone fruit.
I was just say, all right, 20 minutes in, we got to switch. We got four more.
That's yummy.
We're gonna run down the line. Yeah,
and again, as we've one of the things which we've always tried to do is let people know where you can get some of these things, and as of right now, Steelbox has it, and that's probably everybody's best bet for getting it nationwide, unless you can again search for stores. Actually, I can't remember if wine-searcher.com will let you, because it'll search for places that will ship to you, but I cannot remember if it will let you search for places that it's from. That might be how you can find a place in California that possibly carries it, or call around. We got phones. So yeah,
I see the Ewoks kind of snuck in there, and it's Adina's birthday yesterday, so happy birthday.
It was. Happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday. Well, I'm just going to have to pour a little more of that Pacific Flyway.
Okay, and this is a compliment for everybody that I'm going to talk about. That Pacific Flyway, this is one of the spirits that made our friend, who we love dearly, Alan Bishop, somewhat speachless. and that's and we all know we love Alan dearly, and that's a really good thing where when you make Alan go, wow, and he has to think for a while. It's a good thing. This is a really good whiskey.
That's fun. Okay, well,
and we're moving on to the Beaver Likker Moonshine.
I'm having a drink to Mrs. Ewell.
Oh,
cheers.
I'm on to the next one for Mrs.
Come on. Fine. I'm doing it then.
You go for it. You're not going to possibly drink anything in your glass that's better than something that she whips up out of, I found 4 things in the bottom of the fridge and 1 thing in the bottom of the food processor. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to blow your doors off with a cocktail.
For those of you who do not know, she created a cocktail using Malort, Cheetos, and White Claw grapefruit.
Cheese puffs. Yeah.
And fantastic. McRib. And a little touch of McRib.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It is.
It was the bright spot of that evening.
She makes envious cocktails that often have a story behind them, and it's really they're delightful to look at, and every single time it's just like, damn, that looks really good.
All right.
If Adina opened a bar, she could probably charge $25 a cocktail, because you would be getting that experience and the story that goes with it, and everybody just be like, I am very happy to have this cocktail. I'm just saying, maybe,
Trying to make her work. I think she just wants to go enjoy things, trying to line up jobs for her. But
all right.
Beaver Likker. Oh, wait, hold on.
Beaver Likker Moonshine.
Give me a second here. I think I can make it there. Actually,
there's the bottle. One of the coolest bottle fronts.
Yeah, that would draw my attention. That's fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, especially the label where you can see it through. Very cool. But yeah, this is Beaver Likker, the unaged, so Beaver Likker Moonshine, the unaged version. Also a platinum winner at the Council of Tasters at the Ascot Awards, which actually I kind of dig the Ascot Awards and how they do it and why, because it's not, as long as you sign up you get a medal like some stuff. So
yes. And then I remember this is rice, but it was like a malted rice, because we were talking about if they opened it up the category, which they're getting now, to just malted grain, it may have qualified. So, okay.
Yeah, I want to know what you're getting.
This is tough because there's like this, as I come in, you're getting a little bit of the new make, but what I'm finding neat is when you're coming in low, there's this creaminess that is like almost like a whipped. It's not like a whipped frosting because it's like thicker than that. Like a whipped cream cheese frosting on the bottom end when I'm coming in and slow. Besides, yeah, I'm sniffing hard, everyone. A little bit of sugar cookie. There's just this like, the sweet sugar is almost like a grape cotton candy, but I don't mean like purple cotton candy. I mean like white grape cotton candy. Because it's
gourmet
like
cotton candy.
it's like, yeah, it's like the high end of like that edge of that white grape part on the sides. Oh, sorry. You go, Mike. I've been huffing in this one for a second. I'm getting myself into trouble here, but
doing your huffing.
Well,
yeah. So the stuff that I had last time was there was a kind of there's a lemon, but it's not just lemon. It's like a lemon, lemon cookie. I get like that on the nose, and then there's just a little bit of grassiness, but then there's like a jam, and I couldn't put my finger on it the last time, like what I was smelling with it, but it's like this smells sweet and fruity like a jam. So I'm gonna try to nose on that a little bit more and figure that one out.
well, that's the part
There's that faint hint where you're just like, this is unaged whiskey, but then you're like, wait a minute, this isn't just unaged whiskey.
Well, then there's that floral note that I was getting in the bourbon that like halfway up, if you come halfway up the glass instead of being at the bottom all the time, that's when I start getting some of those herbal kind of floral notes. Yeah, it lightens up. It loses that little bit of the new make smell that you get on the bottom of it. Yeah, if you get to that top half, I think that opens up a lot more.
I'm going to sip this because then there's something I want to say after you give your tasting notes, because I want to see if you get this.
I get like lemon creamsicle with almost like a little eucalyptus-y kind of aloe finish on top of it. Or I think that's the creaminess playing over. Just a hint of like spice on the sides, but not too bad on that. First third's got that honey apricot, lemon, peach, but then once a little air hits it, that lemon takes over and becomes a little more lemon pledgy for me.
Okay.
Go.
All right. So here's what I see with this.
I keep talking by myself. That's why I have people on the show.
No, this is good because I talked about this last week. I don't remember what I said. But you're just getting to check these out. So
for new make at 45, that's
right. Do you agree that
like
this does not drink like you're drinking a new make? This is not
no.
Not to knock anybody. This is not Buffalo Trace White Dog #1.
No, like when I'm talking about creaminess on this and on the finish, that's what I'm getting more so. Like you can tell going from
Right.
this to the barrel that the barrel is where you're getting some of that spice and that hit from, because this on the finish, even though there was a little bit of heat for a second, is a very creamy, warm experience on the sides.
Yes.
Almost like a
Now,
custard.
Now, can you see taking this and just maybe throw in a couple of small cubes in a glass? Maybe you do a little lemon or lime garnish on the side. The other thing I thought of, strawberry or something with it, just kind of how refreshing this could be, or using this like to make a martini or something.
I'm going to be honest, off the nose, this almost is like a gin, like the little herbal part to it.
Right. This is not what you would like this is, this is very much crafted like you've done a gin, or you've done well, I'll say gin
I've smelled it in normal ones, but I mean,
it
leans more that way overall, even though like you've smelled bourbons that have that quality too, but like just off the thing, you could maybe pass this off as one of those two, like just as the moonshine as a finished product for some other people with that.
This is extremely sippable and drinkable just on its own, but I can really see, Chris said Beavertini. I could 100% see this, and I am going to try this with, maybe throw in 1 or 2 big cubes and try a little fruit or citrus with it, and where it's just like the world's cheapest cocktail. But this is fun. This does not, like, if you give this to me, I wouldn't say this is a new make just to drink. If I didn't nose it, I would not think you gave me something that was made with new make spirit.
Agreed. Beavertini. Yeah. You could just you could mix it like my sorry, my wife's grandma who has passed on, but Grandma on the Rocks would love this, because in the Beavertini, I don't even know if you add anything to this. I would just pour this and add the olives and call that the Beavertini, because damn. Or if you're gimlety, you can add onions. Sorry, don't lean that way. You could. But I mean, why mix? That's really nice. I mean, I think going in, you can tell maybe it's a new make and stuff. The taste and the finish and the flavor does not give you that thought at all.
No.
Like I said, it tastes more like a finished product of some.
Yeah. It has a nice creamy finish to it.
Hold on a minute.
You got something weird going on out there.
I think
that sounds like something someone's getting injured outside.
I think I'm gonna put it on pause for a second here. Hold on. Okay. At least for the noise. Hold on a minute.
Yeah. Got Mutual of Omaha's. Wow. Emily, that's a very good point. Yeah, blue cheese olives. I tell you what, I would like to try this with is one of our little very simple white trash additions to having whiskey is taking a wheat thin is a good one to do this with. A wheat thin, put a little bit of honey on the wheat thin, a couple of blue cheese crumbles, and have that with your whiskey or as a snack. That would be really fun with this.
Okay. I don't think something made it in the outdoors.
Done.
Sorry about that, everyone. I was not expecting that.
Something was getting maimed.
Yeah. Flavors the punch on this thing. Nose and everything is nice and neat, but the flavor
creamy.
You know what? Agave. Think about the tequila or the little tequila on compared to this going in now.
So I'm wondering if there's a margarita made with this at Golden Beaver, because I could see that.
That's the part I'm starting to see in there is like a little more towards that. Even that was my familiarity, I think. So I don't care if this show takes an hour and I'm tore up. We're getting into this. I'm going back in. I'm honest.
They're good samples. I'm cleaning myself up a little bit here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've had a couple new makes that have been exciting. This is a very exciting new make. It's an extremely drinkable new make.
Yep.
There's a lot of nose turning at a lot of people's that don't do that right. And to me, that's the first step in seeing where something can go. Not to say something doesn't get better over time, but if you don't have that bump right away, if you taste that bump of the new make, you know what I mean? You have it, you're like, then you're like pretty much assuring yourself, like, okay, I feel like going forward, this is going to turn out. Maybe the time frame you don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8 years is what you're doing, like where the sweet spot is, but you feel like at least what I'm putting in the barrel is right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you got me going.
It's got a great mouthfeel, and even the aftertaste with it. It's really nice.
Yeah, you're getting a lot out of stuff there. Very, very impressive. Well, remember the rice was like the king of rice, right? Like it was no joke. It was like the top end. This is the emperor of rice. It was very highly sought after for sushi. I can see why. Oh, I am so dumb.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb. Oh, and they're coming out with a soju. I saw that today.
Yes, it's now officially announced.
It's announced. That's son of a gun.
All right, I'm gonna get ready. I think next we need to do the vodka to clean everything out before you get to the gin.
Yeah. That the flavor on the moonshine is great.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm gonna have to find some place that's using that rice in America. We're gonna have to get some. I'm gonna want to cook with it. I feel like you can taste some of that flavor in the background, and I'm not giving it enough credit, but I don't have experience with that specific type, or if I do, washed over my head at that point in life. So, all right, we're gonna go vodka.
Going vodka.
45% again. So not the low end of vodka.
The High Lakes vodka.
High Lakes vodka, very beautiful. The Majestic Beaver.
And again, buying bottles from Golden Beaver. They do contribute to the conservation of beavers. And this is John Barleycorn 2021 Gold.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Another one. Should just say, not the San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly. Not exactly. But that is interesting. I believe we could make that work. There might be a cocktail show, Emily. You keep that one in mind. I like that.
Okay.
I want beaver, lemon or lime. That's an interesting question. Where the chat could go excited about that. Remember to pay attention to the chat, and if you're watching later on, have that going on because there's some exciting stuff going on in there. If you're not paying attention, you can't mention it at all. So,
all right, I want to know what you're nosing on the vodka. I've got my notes from the last time, and I got a couple of additions.
I just want to wash out for a minute there. I'm serious.
Washing out with the gin.
It hasn't been that type of day. This is Monday. It hasn't been that type of week. So, but
yeah,
it was not okay. When you go into it, not knowing the moonshine, I'm gonna block the moonshine out at this point. Going into the vodka, you can tell that it's not your standard vodka. That is over distilled in my opinion, where they're going for completely nothing, like almost like a crisp nothingness to it. That is not what's happening here.
I'll say it. As some vodkas are, they are made for drunks. And they are made They are. They're made for drunks, and they're made for one purpose: to get you drunk. And that's a lot of them. That's their goal. They do their job. Why else would you have some really weird ass flavored vodka, knowing that people are just going to do shots of it? And yep, tastes like a marshmallow. Boom. Or s'more, I guess more, stuff like that.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just going back in here again. To me, it smells very similar to the new make. Like, not a little bit cleaner. But I'm trying to tell if it's a creamy note, but I'm starting to think it's almost like a saltwater taffy note. Okay, like I'm
with you on the salt. I'm leaning. There's someplace else I'm leaning with that.
I'm like, but it's just like the taffy part is maybe like a little bit of waxiness. It's not flavored. If the taffy wouldn't be flavored, and it's got just a little bit of like graham cracker in the middle of it for me towards the end. Whew. Sorry. Not having these before, sometimes I get a little aggressive in the middle of trying to find things. So
you're known.
I
for
always
your
do.
aggressive
Like,
nature.
Well, most people, like, if I can, I'll get my nose in the glass as far as I can. Like
Yeah.
I almost like bring the alcohol underneath it. Never really had a problem with that. Some people do. So if you get close to it and it's overpowering you, remember, pull away and come back. If something we're doing doesn't look, you can't do, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's the best thing for you either. So. Okay, I'm getting a neat bready note to it now. Not like a rye, but
rice.
Pumpernickel? No, it's almost like it's not oat. I don't know. The rice is what's throwing us off. Like I said, I'm going to find some of this rice because then I'm going to come back to these after that and have a whole new show.
Wouldn't it be interesting if you paired this with a meal
cookie.
made with that rice and it made you not like that? Like if you I love eating this rice or I love this whiskey, but then if you paired them, it actually had like the opposite effect because it did that. No, seriously. Like,
no, I know what you mean. Something like that could happen. I've had weird things that are like, this is going to turn out great. And you're like,
like if you had an oatmeal cookie and then you had like a 4-grain bourbon that had oats in it, that was more dominant, not like 5%, but like enough of it that you're just like, what the
15,
hell?
20-ish, you're like,
yeah.
Oof. Or for me, to be honest, an oatmeal stout beer follows along that line just by the beer itself. Sorry. I don't like drinking oatmeal. Sorry. And I had a bad experience with it once. So.
It's too chunky.
I couldn't get off the floor that way either.
What else are you getting off the nose? Because I'll tell you what I got. I want to see if you're picking it up.
Honey, lemon. It's like a peaches and cream. There. Okay. Beyond the other stuff I said, I'm going to stick with that.
Okay. So, have you had Jelly Belly jelly beans? Have you experienced Jelly Belly jelly beans?
I believe they're made in southern Wisconsin. I tried to go to the factory once, and they were closed on Sunday. It was terrible.
But you've had them where you open it up, and you're going to like, oh, this one is a watermelon. This one is this. This one is that. Now, keep in mind, this is feelings and comparisons. I'm not saying that this is where it comes from. If you've had a Jelly Belly, that is the movie popcorn flavor. Okay, buttered popcorn. Now, the nose that I'm getting off of this, there's like a thickness like a marshmallow fluff, but then it's like Jelly Belly movie popcorn where there's buttery, it's salty, it's got all these things on there. But then the other thing that it actually reminded me of is these other flavors coming off there. It's like if you've ever had, again, fat guy tasting notes, if you've ever like opened up Jelly Bellies where there's other flavors and you just like get all these flavors just come up, and they don't smell artificial. They just smell stronger because they make them stronger than they really are. So they stand out, but not artificial. So yeah, it's like the rush of these different flavors, but the big ones like the marshmallow fluff, the butter, and it's like the buttered popcorn Jelly Belly, where it's just that flavor coming up, and it's that buttery note that keeps coming out along with like that thickness, like the marshmallow fluff.
See, for me, it's almost like there's I get the butter, but it's almost like a thicker, like a cream for me in my mind.
Okay. See, this is the shit I'm talking about. And I mean this with love.
What? Yeah.
Who the hell makes a liquefied popcorn syrup for cocktails? Oh. And it's great. I love it because it's just like, I just
what was it? Was it extra butter? You know, like what version of popcorn was it? Were you using like just standard, or was it like extra butter, movie theater style? But
yeah. I just made a smoked prime rib.
But once you find out how you think it's crazy, but once you find out how easy it is to make a syrup for a cocktail, a lot of times it just becomes exciting to do that. Maybe you'll make 2 or 3 in a night.
I don't disagree, but I would guarantee that she's doing it very well.
Oh,
yes. and I am envious and I'm in awe, but it's like watching. It's like those look so great. She does put her recipes up to it. It's really cool. It's very cool to watch.
Okay, I'm getting some tasting notes. We're all over the place.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's true. You just finished that
again,
there.
Dude.
It threw me off.
With Nutella infused. I love it.
This does not taste like vodka to me.
No.
Really at all.
No.
You know, like comparatively.
I've only ever had.
I don't know if I've ever had a vodka that was like this. I mean, I have things that
you have, but you don't remember it. And when I mention it, you might remember it. But I've only ever had a couple of vodkas like this where you're just like, damn, vodka can be this not simple, but you know what I mean? Just like this straightforward and good. And the only other one that I've had, like this one's better, and I do mean this 100%. Do you remember the vodka at Glens Creek?
Well, yeah, but I put that on the same lines where to me it was. If you were to throw that in a lineup of vodka for the way the American brain views it, it would not. People wouldn't land it in there. You know what I mean? I don't think they would. No,
but if you're like, wait a minute, there's something different about this.
Oh, yeah, completely.
This has more body. It's thicker. There's more flavor to it. Understanding people that want, I want vodka that's totally pure, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you want it so you can drink on the job, or you want this so you can, no one's going to catch you because that's your MO. Flavor is always good. And even if you're not adding flavors to it, if it's bringing those out because you're not distilling it 20 times, so you're just drinking pure alcohol. Anyway, sorry.
I don't know. We have, and there was one other one that had a little finished in a French oak barrel that had some nice finish to it too. But that viscous thing, like I got from the Moonshine, there's like,
you talking crooked water?
Yeah. The viscosity to me, there's a bit in there that tastes like an agave in it, and
yes,
it's thrown.
It's a viscous vodka.
Yeah, well, and I like this. That's where that like for me that creamy, aloe kind of texture-y thing is coming in on a vodka, And like I said, I've felt that once or twice before, but now with all the other nuances happening at the same time in it, you know. This vodka, I would drink this with Mexican food. Like I'm having this vodka.
I would pour a glass of this with a meal.
And it has this nice little spicy note on the mid-range finish to it that carries nowhere strong as the Pacific Flyway. On the sides is more in the middle. Very interesting vodka. Very interesting vodka.
It is. Yeah.
You're working me up to
so
the gym.
What the thing that got me kind of excited is
Facebook Megatron.
People I know is. We're skipping a little bit. So Starka, aged Eastern European tradition that you would make your Starka, you would bury it for whatever life event that happens with the kid, bring it out, whatever. Basically, essentially barrel aged vodka. I tried making my own. I've done a couple that I really, really like. Been very good. They're very hard to repeat. And you don't get much out of it by the time that it ages in the little home barrel. But this vodka with the body and everything on it, I can just imagine. I'm not an age whore, but I can imagine what you could bring out with this barrel age like a Starka. How much the creaminess and the flavors and the vanillas and other stuff that would come out with it. Yeah, that's exciting.
Okay,
this would make a really good Starka.
Not similar in flavor profile, but similar in amount of flavors. And I would think as Iron Root when you're talking Starka. That's where my brain went.
Yeah, it should be coming out.
Yeah, they said that a year ago. Yeah.
No, they said it. They said it 3 years ago. It was going to be in a few months, and then it was like 6 months, and then it was like a year. And in the meantime, I go down there a couple of times, like, yeah, it's not really ready yet. Jonathan's, and I'm sure it's going to be great when it does come out. But I'm like, hey, we couldn't get any of the last time they came out, but they will do it well. I'm sure they will do a fantastic job of it.
It's waiting for something to blow your mind, but I mean, it's gonna. Yeah. Like you said, that's where I went with it. I was like, okay, who else is putting out something that has a whole lot of flavor and then in a vodka and then dropping it in something like that. So that's a whole other. They have a lot of rice patties. Trying to figure out where to age it. I don't want it to get like waterlogged or anything, but
I mean, you wouldn't have to do much with it. I mean, like when I did my home Starka, I did barrels that I had done several other things in, just the 1 liter barrels. I'd done several other things in it, and then I did 2 different barrels that had been through 2 different series of contents, and I put 2 different vodkas in the 2 barrels. And then came out with the results of it. And that's a lot of fun. I highly recommend doing that. If you wouldn't think that you would ever want to drink vodka, that pulled a lot of really nice flavors out.
All right. I just poured some gin.
All right. I'm going to finish this vodka. This vodka it's very fun to drink. And I really, truly 100% mean that.
So far, for me, it's the third, but that doesn't mean it's not exciting. For a vodka, it is really interesting. Like I said, for me, there's some flavors in there on both those, and I think it has to do with the rice that make me feeling like this agave texturing to it.
There's a sweet and creamy thing with this vodka that I really dig. I really, really dig it. Okay.
All right. Gin's up.
Gin is up.
Oof. Okay.
And might I add, after especially going for the moonshine and going to the vodka and going to gin, it's just like, whoa, refreshing.
Well, I'm gonna say pouring out of the glass. It was the first thing I poured it like off camera, and as I poured it, I was like, whew. I get the juniper.
It reminds me of. You done like the infused ice water? like the big thing when they put all the fruit slices and stuff in there, and have that, and then maybe you put have a slice of something with your in your glass. That's what it reminds me of. It's just like, whoa, this is not botanical. I'll say it, not the botanical shittiness we've experienced with some things. This is complementary to the spirit.
Okay, for me, this one, the juniper is strong on the nose coming up, though, comparatively. It's really nice looking, though. You have a lot of nice bottles. They do a good job on bottle work there.
Yeah.
Really nice pictures.
Good looking bottles.
Feeling like my nose might be starting to.
So I'll go into the two big things I get. I get lemongrass and tangerine along with the juniper.
I was gonna say that I wasn't getting quite tangerine, but I was getting a little more mandarin. But I think tangerine's right because it has.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the
hard edge.
I don't want to say cuties, but because I guess the people that own that are assholes. But then again, who's not?
Who's not? Apparently.
Yeah.
Lemongrass is in there. That's that earthiness, but I was going to say it has juniper still. It is nice, but for me, juniper's heavy. It's like hitting juniper and then like pulling through it. And then when you get up to the glass is when you start hitting those other notes.
Yeah. You know what it smells like to me? It smells like I'm already drinking a gin and tonic.
Yeah. There's a little effervescence to it.
Yeah.
Like the lemongrass, that tie-in kind of citrus when you're coming in. For me, this will be interesting again, because if this ends up like the vodka where I feel like you should just drop some ice and, like you said, a little flavoring, a little fruit, a little something in it to kind of kick off an edge and see where it goes, I'm going to be impressed. Okay, here. Okay, what the hell?
What are you getting?
Okay, for me, when you take it into your mouth and you're just holding it here and swishing it around, it feels like it's going to be juniper heavy because it's like not opening up for me as I'm swishing it around. I open my mouth. Fucking everything else like comes to life through that moment. Like when air hits it and comes in, holy shit. You think lemon more so because when you get it up close, you get the lemongrass in the nose and it comes through. But once you open your mouth and the palate, you get the lemon, definitely lemongrass, this nice earthiness. Holy cow. That tastes, like you said, it tastes like a gin and tonic without anything added to it. This one, not agave feel like I was saying the vodka was, though. I'm not getting that on the palate on this like I did on the Moonshine and on the vodka.
There's still a little creaminess to it.
There is, but it's not the viscosity level either.
No. And it's not like a gin and tonic where you've got, too much where it's thinned out and the effervescence just kind of makes everything leave your palate. It's still there. The flavor is still sitting there.
And I'm going to say I'm getting... like there's a darker like an elderberry or like an elderflower in there for a second that I'm getting as well too, because there's this like it's a meatier floral note. I know that's probably not what's in there, but that's where my brain's headed at this moment.
Yeah, there's only been a couple of gins, and again, anyone that's watched us in the past or heard us talk at all ever about gin, we're not fans. We were not fans, but there's only been a couple of gins that I've had, being a person that have had bad experiences and people saying, oh, you haven't had the right gin. And then they give you the one that smells and tastes like cheap perfume, and it comes through there. But this is this along with the Death's Door.
Death's Door from Dancing Goat.
This one and Death's Door, the Riegers and Leopold are ones that very just straight up drinkable as is gin. Stumpy's was pretty good as well. The Crooked Waters, that was also really good. Very drinkable, all on its own. Chris is asking peppers. I'm going to have to see if I
may have had too many drinks.
Yeah, it's always a possibility.
Okay. I get what he means when you open up on the backside of the finish, like right as it starts. It's not a jalapeno though. It's a bit that tastes. It's not a Scotch bonnet either. Okay.
Oh, it's just Spencer just he deleted his. He's going to click on it. You know what kind of borders on for me? If it's pepper, which I know you get power of suggestion. Yeah, the gin is good when your lips don't work, but almost kind of pepperoncinis, you know what I mean?
It's in the finish, Chris. It's in the finish, not in the first part for me, but in the finish. I get what you're talking about. But usually I have a little more red heat to it, I think, for me.
Yeah, there's a little buttery, spicy thing there that I would say more like those, when I've had them. I'm gonna have to have more. I don't know about Szechuan. That seems.
You saying Szechuan? I can see part of it in there. I'm just I think Chris is just trying to make me drink more all night.
Chris is trying to get you to buy your own bottles.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, so Spencer brings this up, and this has been one of my problems in the past with the gins that I've had. They've been so overly done, so full of shit that I went to one local place here. They're like, oh, here's our award-winning gin. It's also the official gin of this and this, and go and test it out. And then they start off. It's got 16 botanicals. Like, okay, come on. At what point do you really step back and realize that you yourself are full of crap? Because that's too much.
Okay,
that's too much.
I agree in general, but then you start looking at some other things like, oh man, what was Hunter S. Thompson's thing? It wasn't absinthe. It was what was it? I know I bitch about it all the time, and it's not coming to me.
It's not, and no, it wasn't absinthe.
It wasn't.
But yeah. Anyway,
terrible. Can't believe I forgot that. But yeah, whatever that was has like 137 botanicals in it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, if you start playing in that realm, then I guess 13 is not bad. But for a gin, a lot of times it seems like it's becoming very convoluted at some points, where how much of it is really in there? Are you just putting enough to legally say the botanical counts?
Just because you can put that many botanicals in there doesn't mean you should. Yeah, 47 botanicals. Yeah.
As long as it tastes good, I'm not going to talk you down from it. You know what I mean? You prove me wrong. I have no problems with that. I will sing your praises.
But I know you'll get this, and maybe three other people will get this. But drinking this gin straight, you know what it tastes like? It tastes like we're going to go on someone's show after this and ruin it. Because Fred did that to us. and then then we went on the Whiskey Crusaders, and I think we ruined their show. They were not expecting.
Well, they were expecting. They
They weren't expecting us to come in the way that we
did. They
did.
expect you to drink throughout an entire part of an evening. That isn't a generally
They
expected
expect
thing.
you to try 10 things in one night.
Yeah,
they didn't
at
expect
least.
us to come in full of gin cocktails that hit us about 10 minutes into the show. And
We
we're
were a
like,
little-
hey, yeah. But no, this is really good. And this comes from a person who is not, I would never seek out gins until Fred Swanson said, here, you need to try this really good gin, and sent that Death's Door. And it's like, okay, he's on to something here. And then the next one, Heather was one. She sent us her gin. Her gin was great. There's 2 gins actually that Heather
I want
had.
the Sundog from them. We only had the Navy.
Yeah.
And for a Navy gin, that was impressive, because normally Navy gins are like kind of slap you in the face, don't give a shit gin, and it actually was nice.
Yeah. And it was, so we've had some of those that are very drinkable, very sippable. And I think what we have, I think you would agree, Ben has had these when he was on Bourbon Turntable. Ben did try, I don't know if he tried the gin as well, but they might have. But I was talking with Kevin about the different lineup that Kris has. There's sometimes where, it's like you do a couple of things really well. These are all done really well. I mean, these are really good. I would happily say try any one of these. If you go online, you're like, oh, but I can only get this. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you could only, like, you go to Sealbox and all they have is the new make. I don't think you're going to be disappointed if you get it. Or I don't think you'll be disappointed if you go in there and all they have is the vodka. I really think you're going to like the vodka.
Well, it doesn't drink like a vodka, so I mean,
it does not drink like a vodka, and this gin does not drink like
that's
you're
what I want
just
to get
drinking
back to
gin.
before we leave, because of his Szechuan comment.
Yeah,
and
it is very good. And
there's a spike, there's a spark of heat at the top end, and then it kind of drags through the sides of your tongue, where it's heat like that. But it's not, for me, it's not as overpowering. But then again, when I go Szechuan and stuff, I probably go to the point where I shouldn't, or at least I used to. Age has tempered me a bit, in the powerfulness of the spices I use a little bit, just from recovery time, because I have that now. Used to not matter, but yeah, I get what you mean. Opening and the airway on the back and stuff, it hits that little bit high end. But it's hidden in there for me. It's not heavy.
No.
It doesn't jump up. And for me, and the nose and the vodka and the gin are more powerful than the actual flavors. Like, they cut a little bit harder, and you get into the flavors, and it's lighter, rounded, a little more married together.
Okay, you said that, and I think really that's a key word for it, is just flavor. There's just a lot of flavor across the board in these. Mm-hmm. And where you get, and I'm one of them, sometimes you like to get slapped around. There's been times where I'm like, all right, I just want to have a little something, and I want to get slapped around. I know which ones I can do and get slapped around. There's also ones where you're like, I want to sit and I want to enjoy this. Every single one of these, I would be very happy to pour in my glass to just enjoy on its own, or try to do, come up with something, a simple cocktail like that. Making the margarita or the martini with the new make, I think that's a hell of an idea. But yeah, these are all
that would be killer.
Yeah. Really, I mean, honestly, really, it's really fun. And the gin, again, I'm not turning into a gin person, but I'm turning into a person that is finding gins, and people are like, no, there are good gins out there that are not offensive. And this is one of them.
Nice. I don't know, man. That's like we say this. We said it about a couple other distilleries. For the 4 that you're having here, an extremely strong lineup. There are places you'll go and you'll have 6 or 7, or maybe they might only offer you 4, and sometimes you only find 1 or 2 that are hidden in the mix that you're like, okay, interesting, or that, that's a cut above. Very strong lineup. For what's coming out here.
It makes me more excited.
The show, and this is very. I'm sorry, I don't know if you're going to the soju, but I'm gonna bring that up because
that's what I was gonna say. It makes me excited for other stuff that's coming up because I think, and I would put this just based on this. These are samples or the bottles that Kris sent, and I'd had previous samples before. That was my first experience, and that's what was interesting. It was after having, there was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different distillers that had stuff on, and his was towards the, I want to say it was towards the middle to the end, but it was after having other things on there. It stood out, and that was funny. It's like you got this new make, there's a lightly aged that were able to stand out above the other stuff. And there's been a couple of instances that we have had where someone is like across the board doing things like Iron Root across the board. You're like,
Ranger
okay,
Creek, when we had Josh's
Ranger Creek.
Like,
all you have to do is announce you have something coming out, and I know it's going to be it. It may not be my favorite, but I know it's going to be an experience. Alan's been another one. Even stuff where he's like, oh, this one's kind of weird. This is Kasha. Guess what? It's pretty freaking good. This is another one. Like Kris was like, oh, I'll come out with this. You know what? I'm gonna guess it's gonna be pretty damn good when it comes out, or at least it's gonna be a very fun experience to do it. And I've been very excited to try these again. I'm very excited to try them with you and watch you do it.
I want to see the malted rice. I know it's not like a single malt, but I want to see the malted rice come out just further down the road.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's not called it. I just want to see it because, man,
American single malt rice whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have to misspell it to make this to make it work for the TTB? I don't care, because, like I said, the Pacific Flyway was a wonderful experience with the flavors that were coming out of there.
Yeah,
just hit intense. Like you said, we instantaneous. We had Rua, loved it. Similar thing with this. Similar profile, different fruits, a little bit lighter pastry where that was like a bear claw frosting. This is more like a little bit lighter. But doesn't it remind you of that excitement that we had with it, where we were all just like, oh hey. Well, I'm doing it right now, dude. Check it out.
Yeah,
you see that, people? Is that right? Okay, that's screwed up. That's how you know you're excited. You sniff something, your arm and leg hairs stand up after an hour of tasting things.
Yeah, and I poured a little bit more of the gin. Again, it's very nice nose. It's like pouring a gin and tonic.
Yeah, I think that for me, the most impressive thing about the vodka and the gin is that it almost like you don't need anything else with it.
No,
or like you said, you can garnish it like with the mellows. You just want to play with it a little. You don't want to. You don't want to overlean
which
it.
Mellows?
Huh?
Which DeMellows?
Well, the barrel aged one, not the green guys.
Not the illegal
mellows,
one.
Not the green guys.
Not the one that will get me 5 to 7 in county.
That doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about.
It doesn't exist, but
it's
legend.
It's legend. But like that, where it's like all you want to do is just like kind of crack it off to the side. Like you don't even need to do anything. It's good on its own, and then you hit this edge to it, just like, okay, the cocktail is I added crushed lemon. And that's it. And it's like,
or you don't tell them at all.
Beautiful.
Like, man, you make the best whatever. Yeah, I sure do. Yeah, it's good. No, I've enjoyed sipping these again. These are they're really good.
I'm impressed. And like I said, I like the flavor. I love the rice thing going to it. I can't wait to see where some of the later releases go. You had a wonderful clear before. I see this going in the same direction. I mean, this is just fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've
Tasty.
eaten up a little bit of your time tonight in these 4 little reviews. But each and every one has been good. I think that's the unanimous decision. Hands down, go buy a bottle, go find a bottle if you can. If you can't, some people have some. Just reach out. People can mule. It happens.
Visit places.
Yeah. This is something definitely. It's something you want to try. I mean, if this, we're always looking for more unique, interesting things. This totally falls in that lineup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that, like I said, it's so solid at such a young age for a distillery. You know who this reminds me of? And I forget how long Kris has been out, but it reminds me of Silver Fox. Like a couple years old, and you're hitting this lineup that's like, damn. I mean,
so
very exciting.
I mean, and nothing against it, but Silver Fox is overall more playful because that's the person that's doing it, and it's just blatant, like blatant playfulness. That is, okay. Someone comes out with a flavored vodka. Well, what if I made one that didn't taste like shit? That would be Mark. That's Mark.
Yeah, that's Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be like as you're talking about it, and you come up with the idea. He did that with Cast Strength. They talked about something, and as they're talking about something hanging out,
I can make that.
He runs off to the little room, starts making a batch, comes back.
Yeah.
But
no, I do get it because it's the same vibe.
Yeah.
You got someone who's like, I can make that, and I can make it well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it seems like every time you're hitting it, it's like F&A, Cotton. Well done.
Yeah.
So next week, you're not going to be here, are you, Mike?
I will not. I will actually be at a concert with my son next Monday, so I will not be here. So
whose concert?
Jack White.
Oh, so you could have led
at an outdoor concert. So, well, my brother-in-law just told me it's this weekend. My one of my brothers-in-law is driving to Dubuque, Iowa, to deliver some stuff to it for his son for his new place. Driving all that stuff up there today. He's going to get stuff situated tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow night. The band, which one of my favorite bands as well, Government Mule. It's one of my brother-in-law's favorite bands. Government Mule is playing in Dubuque tomorrow night. They're opening for ZZ Top. And he was like, you got to be kidding me. Why are they opening? I go, look, it's got to be respect, number one. But number two, he's like, yeah, but Government Mule. I go, listen, though, they're going to come out and play together. Can you imagine ZZ Top playing with Government Mule? That's going to be freaking awesome. So he's going to stay through tomorrow night to go to the concert before he drives back home. And I would absolutely, I would love to. I love Government Mule. I saw them when they were 3-piece, before Alan Woody died, which is really awful, but they've expanded out. Government Mule, go see them. They also had an offshoot, and now we're doing Bourbon Turntable.
Yeah, I got one too. So
there was a band that it was out for a while. They were calling themselves Blue Floyd, and it was members that were all tied to the Allman Brothers in one way, or the only other one was Robbie Krieger from the Doors. His kid was in the band, so it had guys that are all tied, and they did like bluesy versions of Pink Floyd, and dude, it was awesome. It was so good. But no, I'm excited. It'll be the second time I've seen Jack White, and I've seen him both times to be with my son. And they were, the first show was great. They went through all the stuff, and I'm really excited about this one. Some friends have already seen him this year, and they said it's a really good show how he did it. So yeah, I'm excited.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Excitement like that.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm really. I bought the tickets as a Christmas present to myself. That's how long ago I bought the tickets.
Hey, you got to do that sometimes. Treat yourself.
Well, they came out, they did it, and I'm like, this concert's not going to be till August. But whatever.
So he won't be here. I don't think we're going to have a show next Monday.
But you got something. You got something kicking. You're trying to get going after that, though, right?
Oh, I have a few things
Okay.
things in the works that are coming up here that
Okay.
that could happen.
I have to ask, just because we were just talking about music, and there's another one, Chris Ria. Maybe he's no longer with us, but is Chris Ria the musician? Just curious.
It would be exciting.
Auberge, one of my favorite listens that I had from Chris Ria, if you want to look it up.
I'll let you go.
Okay.
Elaborate.
We're really getting into bourbon turntable. Also,
I was going to tell you, I'm like, hey, because he got me thinking about it. Butch Walker has a new album coming out.
Oh,
and I liked him when he was in the Marvelous 3, and when he was playing with the Black Widows. He's one of the people. He's been all over the effing spectrum. So he's like, I think I can do a 70s piano album, and he'll do it. This is weird. It's fantastic.
The show might not be everybody's thing, doesn't matter, but I got a thing tonight that was Jimmy Kimmel tonight has Tedeschi Trucks Band.
Wow.
So
if you haven't seen them,
damn it, is it this week? I can't remember if it's this week or if it's next week. The 4th album in the I Am the Moon series is coming out. That's Tedeschi Trucks, one of my favorite bands. But man, every one of those has been awesome. But we're really going into bourbon turntable territory.
Yeah.
But they had one of our friends, Lenny Eckstein, on there. Those shows should be coming out. Talking about some of Lenny's whiskey, which is wonderful. Go look for it.
Fantastic.
They can ship
whiskey.
to you. Oh,
Fantastic.
that smoked corn whiskey was good.
Whiskey is bomb.
And Kevin mentioned a new one that they tried, and I'll tell you, it was a what did he say? There was a rye. There was a single malt. They had a rye, and a different single malt, but he didn't say what was in it. But yeah, bourbon turntable on Wednesdays. Good people, good friends. I think they had a guest host. I think it was Red, so that could be a good time too. So. But find Golden Beaver online, seal box for sure. Try to find a place out of California that will ship. Some of them will. I've gotten lucky with a couple of places, but you just got to find one that carries it.
And if you do, make sure to share it with people. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't normally say that to people.
Yeah.
Make sure to share this one with people.
The important thing is that you share the spirits from craft whiskeys so then people will buy it. So then that way it all goes back to the craft distillers, and hopefully someday they can all ship directly and not have to deal with governmental bullshit, and also the 3-tiered
system. Just tear it all down.
I was going to say something worse, but go ahead.
I know you were. That's why I was trying to cut you off.
Yeah. I don't want to think it's going to get anybody in trouble, but you want to support these people as much as possible. And this is good. No bullshit. We haven't lied to anyone before. We're not doing it now. Every one of these is great. If one of these 4 is the only one that you can find at your place, get it. You will definitely not be disappointed.
So, all right. So there might be there'll be some reviews coming out, I think, is what we might aim for. We got Cedar Ridge, we got Natural Spirits we got to do. So we got a couple of other ones we got to get out and done. We do have
Natural
some
Spirits. We could have a running thing with Natural Spirits to always do the palate cleanser at the end of every show.
We could handle that.
If we could get that, that would be a very fun thing to try. We could sell so much Natural Spirits.
I will talk to Dave because it's fantastic. Wait a minute. No, I'm not gonna sell you that right now. I'm gonna stick with Chris's stuff for the evening. That's not fair. I'm not cleansing.
But seriously, thank you all. Thank you, Chris, for the sample bottles. And this has been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
An extremely strong showing from a variety of spirits. When which gets us into a whole different realm of people saying I'm a distiller and only being able to do one thing or barely being able to read when your stuff's overflowing. Sorry, had a few drinks. Let's get out of here, Mike.
That's okay, but I think we should do a special sign off.
Oh, special, yes.
To Alaska Airlines.
To the wonderful people at Alaska Airlines. Cheers, everyone.
What?